I think the first vote was Florida State behind Georgia, and they got in the room and didn't want to embarrass the ACC, so let's swap those. They left Georgia at if they let Georgia at 5, this would not be going on. Talking about all this controversy, it would be clear because Alabama beat Georgia. Uh, that was Paul Finebaum talking about what he felt like happened in the College Football Playoff Committee meeting last week. He's really got a point when he's talking about the lack of transparency right now in the College Football Playoff Committee is a problem. But now listen, college football is not like the rest of collegiate sports. The NCAA has nothing to do with the championships of college football. I don't think they ever have, and they haven't, because it's the bowl game system. The bowl system's always been there. So keep your NCAA hate to yourself for the time being, and use it at any other moment. But as far as the College Football Playoff Committee, they can do whatever they want to do. They've proven that. Again, not to reiterate this necessarily. I don't care if I reiterate it or not. What I don't understand about the College Football Playoff Committee is, are we talking about the best 4 teams or the most deserving 4 teams, or is it now that it's a combination of both? Because if it's a combination of both, it's just you're just doing whatever you want to do. Now, in 2024 and beyond, it won't really matter. Like if you're number 13 and you're complaining about getting in, hey, look, you're not going to win anyway. It's really going to be 11 and 12 because we have this complete fallacy that we have to include schools like Liberty in a college football playoff when they have no business being there. None. Zero business being there. James Madison, Liberty, Coastal, whoever. Hey, this is a ridiculous thing. It would be like saying, well, we're going to include, we really think that Georgia State can win the basketball championship in the NCAA Division I. So we're going to put them in there. I mean, it's just dumb. So, it's more dumb because at least in the scenario that I just discussed with Georgia State or Southern or Coker or, USC Upstate or any of these schools around, they can win their conference championship and get invited to a tournament with 68 teams in it. Okay, that's not the same as winning your conference in some pitiful league, for lack of a better term, and you're going up. You're playing, Penn State on the road. Liberty's going to play Penn State on the road. Well, what if they upset them? What if they do? So what? I mean, these teams are never going to beat the powers of college football. Okay, we've gone the last however long it's been without Alabama or Georgia or LSU winning the national championship. I mean, Clemson won it twice in the college football playoff era. But other than that, it's been nothing but blue bloods. That's it. Just, Ohio State, Georgia, LSU, or Alabama. That's it. Someone can correct me. I don't think there has been anybody else. No Oklahoma, no, not even sort of blue bloods like Oklahoma, or I hate to say sort of blue bloods, Notre Dame, USC, teams like that kind of masquerade as blue bloods. Not even them. No, it's just the powers. And expanding it's not going to change that, but I digress. When Paul's talking about the committee here, the only sensible thing is to have Georgia at 5. I mean, Florida State's not better than Georgia with the quarterback. They're not. But, and some people say, well, what are you looking at? You talking about your eye test? Yes! What other test is there? They don't play each other. What are we talking about? That's what I get so tired of is, they're undefeated. Great. That is awesome. You know who was undefeated until they played Alabama? Georgia. You know who was undefeated until they played Texas, Alabama? You know who was undefeated? They're not playing the same sort of teams. They're in the ACC, for God's sakes. And I know that really triggers ACC folks. Get over it and get past yourself. You know it's true. It's not the same league. It ain't the same thing at all. LSU, who was a good win for Florida State, period. It just was, is the 5th ranked team in the SEC. Alabama, Georgia, Missouri, and then Ole Miss. They are number 5. Like, it ain't the same thing, y'all. And that's your one win. Is your other one Louisville? The team that Kentucky beat? So it is not the same. And I am looking so forward to getting away from this. Greg Sankey can come off as being arrogant or smug or whatever, but he's right. Just put the trophies up there. Just line them up. Line them up. The SEC is clearly the best league. So when we talk about, and it was fun. It was fun to date the Pac-12. I mean, it's just sort of kind of wild and like nuts and everything, but it is not the same at all. It's just not the same. I think it's not a great example, but when Georgia, beat Oregon's skulls in 24 games ago, that just shows you the difference in the two leagues. And you say, well, you can't, the ACC had a winning record against you. Hey, check out our buddies from Eco Poly. This is the River's Edge coffee table. I have the taller version of this. This table is awesome. I put this is not what you're going to do, but this is what I do. It shows you how sturdy it is. I put 3 50-pound bags on top of an elevated table. I use it to like spread photo stuff out with. Most people use it to eat with, but I don't. As you can see, I'm just a little different on that front. But our friends at EcoPie, this is such a great relationship. But anyway, these are in red and black. This is an awesome Christmas gift. I'm just gonna tell you right now. Look at this. It's a 60-pound Christmas gift made of completely recycled plastics. I am really enjoying all of their stuff that we use. And I'd encourage you to check out the link down below because the quality of it is outstanding. That it's made in the heart of Georgia is one thing. That they can create these multiple colors allows you to get exactly what you want. Like, for instance, let's just say you don't want that top, okay? And you're kind of going, oh, I'm in the mountains, I'm going to go green and gray. Or just straight up all gray, or like more like that. I would say if I'm in the mountains or at the lake, maybe I might go green top. But anyway, you can do whatever you want to do. And if you want it to be, no, I'm not going that hard. If you're saying, hey, I want Georgia, but I don't want to go crazy, like super hardcore. Can I just go black and silver? Yeah, you can. So anyway, you can customize all of these, not all of them. You can customize what you can customize, which is a lot of their line. Anyway, check that out. The link is down below. But man, when you're trying to customize this college football playoff, we won't have this problem next year. What we'll have next year as a problem is exhaustion. It will be an exhaustive run of. I don't know how December is going to work next year. I mean, that's going to be a lot. But anyway, back to what Paul was saying. He's talking about they didn't want to embarrass the ACC. I'm sure they didn't. But the fact of the matter is that the either actual outrage that Florida State didn't get in, or the talking points outrage, or I see these elected officials really getting bent out of shape about this. When we've got, I can barely drive on roads in parts of the South, and we're going crazy about Florida State being left out of the playoff. I mean, like, this is nothing to do with y'all. Don't worry about that. And there's other stuff that should be going on that is more prevalent and important than this. They weren't one of the best 4 teams. They did not deserve to get in. They will have their chance without. But the problem with the Orange Bowl in either way is, like, Georgia can't win. Even if they win, there will be this, well, they don't have their starting quarterback. Which is like, well, that's why you got, that's why you're not in the playoff, right? I mean, like, you weren't one of the best 4, and you don't have your starting quarterback. And then, so So if Georgia wins the game, it's like ho hum. But it's a bit unfair for Florida State too, as it relates to if they lose the game. Well, people will do this whole thing. Well, they'll say, "Well, see, you weren't supposed to." That what happens after the fact is not the argument. I mean, I know I'll probably slip up and say that at some point. Like, you were so good, you wanted to get in the playoff and you lost. The loser of this game is not going to have a great leg to stand on, but the moment's passed already. Like, it's gone, and you can't. That's not the argument. The argument is, did they get it right at that time when they had to get it right the first Sunday in December? I think they did. As it relates to Florida State, no. Georgia's one of the best four teams. They just are. And when people say, why? Well, how can you say that? Alabama beat them. Well, Alabama's one of the best four teams as well. And then they'll say, well, Texas beat Alabama. Okay. Let me see who beat Oklahoma. Like, are we doing it like that? Like, that's what we're doing? So only what happens to Alabama is how the world revolves? Georgia didn't play Alabama last year. I'm trying to see. Let's see. Oh, they did win the national championship without playing Alabama. Why didn't they play Alabama? Alabama wasn't in the SEC championship to play Georgia. So the whole world can't revolve around what the result is in the Michigan-Ohio State game and the Alabama sweepstakes down here. I mean, it's got to be, who are the best four teams? The problem is next year, we won't have this problem next year. We will have who are the best 11 teams and who is the idiot program that we're putting in as well. I mean, who are we wasting our time with? Who is going to pull the upset that is irrelevant? That is not something to scream and yell about, but there's no scenario where those teams should be in a 12-team playoff. They just shouldn't. And for the record, 12's too many, but it's better than 4 because obviously 4 is too few this season. And the problem is sometimes it's not. But we thankfully we are moving forward in a positive way. We went from the SEC could never play the Big Ten for a national championship because the SEC was in the Sugar Bowl and the Big Ten was in the Rose Bowl. Now the Big Ten can never play the SEC for the championship because they're never in the championship. You like that? And when they are, they get their ass blown out of Ohio State.